Hello and welcome to Become a Full Stack Developer. In this lecture, we will discuss the method, function, and method. So, if we walk through all the programming history, the programming will start with the basic, that the procedural language, and then it comes to the functional language, and then now it is object-oriented programming is widely using everywhere. So the concept function and what is the actually function. So in this tutorial we will discuss the types of functions, syntax, arguments in a function, uh, static argument args versus double static kw arguments, return type, multiple value return, inner function or nested function, and the closure function. So let's start with the definition of the function. What actually function is? Function is to define a function, the meaning of that, to make a reusable code to perform a similar operation or similar task. What does this mean? It's mean we have like we are going to send an email to the clients, so we can write one method that will send the email to client, and we can use that particular method in a different way, like in the forget password or while creating a new user. So this technique is something called, we can say that this is a function. So the first topic is types of function. There are two types of function. The first one is a built-in function, and another one a user-defined function or the custom function. So the built-in function, what does this mean? Built-in function means that the system or the Python, and as we are discussing the Python, some functions are predefined or already in the Python, called the built-in function, like a print, to print anything. This is a built-in function, right? So this is already provided by Python team. So this is a built-in function. The customized function is that we can write our own code for our own purposes or for our own logics. This is called a user-defined function. So what are the syntax of the function? Very simple. Here is a keyword def. Consider it is a definition and the name of function. Suppose I want to use it print name. I have named this the print name, and then the bracket, and then colon, and here is your line of code or your logics, or what actually you want to achieve in this particular function. So right now I'm just going to print the name. I'm naming this hi Anjum, suppose, and done. So the function is done. So how this function will, if we just run this function or run this particular file or run this particular code, this is nothing. It did not display anything over here. So if we want to check that what actually function is providing, we have to call that function somewhere. As we are in one file, so we can call the same function print name with the bracket, and you can see that we have a hi Anjum. We have declared a function. We can call it multiple time, anywhere like this. So it will print the 3 times no Anjum. So sometimes we have to get the argument in a function. What does this mean? Argument, considering that sometimes we have to get the parameter from the customer or from the user. Suppose I want to get the name of the user. Despite of hard coding hi Anjum, I'm getting the value as a parameter, and here I'm just formatting this, and this value is comes here. Now if I do run this function, this will throw the exception, missing one required optional argument name. So what does this mean? This function is accepting the one parameter, and we over here we did not pass anything. So let me pass actually Anjum here. So now you can see that Anjum is dynamic, right? So the another thing is that I have just printed here hi Anjum, right? So we want to return something, that is our next topic, return type. Let it discuss first. What does this mean, return type? Return type over here we just print the value, print hi Anjum. So in some cases, let's say we have a function to complete the full name, like we are passing the first name and last name, and we are accepting that our function will return as a full name, meaning that we are just concatenating first name and last name. Let me actually name it first name. I'm just naming it f name and l name, and I want this to and I'm renaming the function full name, right? So we were expecting that return to concat both, right? So very simple, first name plus, then we are adding a space, and then last name, actually l name, right? What does this mean? It is oh yeah, we have missed over here plus symbol. Now this function will return some values. Now I'm using the full name. This is a function and it is getting two value, first name and last name. Suppose I'm entering Nawab, and in the last name I'm entering Anjum. I have run the code, it does not return anything, it does not print anything. So this function is returning the string or returning the value. So we can declare a variable over here like my name, suppose, and I'm just printing the my name. Now you can see that our function is returning the full name, right? Or we can directly print over here if you want to print something like this, print and like this. So we have name again Navavanjam. So the another topic is that uh, you can see that over here our function is returning only one value, means we are just concatenating first name and last name, right? And we have just print that. In some cases we have to make a function that will return a different thing at the same time, like the first name, last name, uh, maybe the full name first, and then we are assuming that age. Suppose I'm going to make another function, like I'm saying naming it multiple value function. Suppose it will let it remove everything from here. So suppose we are hard coding something like the Navabanjum and age, and I'm naming it age 29, right? So this is a function. So this function will return two value, actually multiple value function. It is returning the string, then comma, then age, and I want to call this function somewhere like over here, and I'm just declaring a two variable. The first variable I can name anything, but my name over here is full name, then comma, then age, right? And I want to check that what actually full name has, and I want to check the same for age. Now you can see that we have a Navabanjam in full name and age in another print statement. Now you can see that both have different things, like this is string and this is integer, and we can, in simple wording, we can return multiple values using a function in Python, right? So it can be any kind of data type, like it can be an integer, it can be a string, or it can be a complex object. Complex object meaning that meaning that we are returning so Our next topic is no, you can see that over here. Suppose I want to I'm just creating a function with the name of def add, suppose, and num1 and num2. That's it. Colon and return num1 plus num2, and actually let it print over here. Print for safe side. I'm just converting into int. Maybe it is good if I go with every parameter, right? So I have added a function add number one, number two, and just printing the both. And over here I'm calling add. So it is accepting two things, one and one. Now you can see that it has printed two. But how about if I want to add a three? It will throw me an error. Optional, but add takes two positional argument, but three were given. So how we can achieve this functionality? So to achieve this functionality, we have to follow the static argument. So if we want to make our function to accept multiple parameter, we can use a static and number. So I'm not adding this actually. So I'm just printing the for num1, or let it name it num actually, num, and we want to print x. Now you can see that over here, if I do pass 3, our method is accepting 3 value. If I do pass only 2, 1, so this is accepting 1. If I do pass multiple like this, then this is accepting, right? If I do not pass anything, then this is accepting, right? So this term called non-keyword arguments, right? And how about if I want to pass actually this work only for the number or something like that, but we cannot pass the the complex object mean that we cannot pass the dictionary, or we can actually pass the list. Over here it will accept the list, right? So if I do pass here, suppose age is equal to 20, name is equal to Nawab, it will throw an error, got unexpected keyword argument. So if we want to make our method or make our function to accept the complex object, the key pair related thing like a dictionary, so we will follow let it make it another method, def, I'm naming it show details, suppose, right? I'm double static, then you can name anything like a data, colon, for, sorry, over here, data dot get data dot items, right? We can add a key because item have a key and value, right? We can name it anything like key value, but I have named it key value. Print f. I'm just printing the name and a key and value in a one print line, or in a one print key, the key is key and value is value, this value actually, and then new line, and is equal to this, and I'm calling over here. Now you can see that the key is age, right? The key is name, and the value is Nawab. Actually, we have two keys. We are adding the age and the name, so that's why it has printed key and the value, and the key name and the value. So this is called keyword argument. When we want to pass a complex object, we can pass anything over here, or we can create a dictionary. Suppose I wanted like my detail. Suppose I have created a my detail dictionary, right? And suppose gender, male, right? Comma, and salary. Suppose salary is, sorry about that, salary is 40, actually 4,000. So I'm just passing like this. So this will not work because it is saying that take one position argument, but one was given. So how we can give the dictionary object into such kind of method as a parameter? So for that we have to just add a double static. Now you can see that it has printed key value, right? So this is about the argument, keyword argument uh, in a function. So we have discussed multi-value, multiple value return simple type, key value, arguments, as we have created our one method only that is accepting the two number one and number two, that is called argument. And the another thing is that inner function or nested function. Sometimes we want to use inner function. What the purpose of inner function is? Considering that we are encapsulating some code that are not allowed, or that cannot be accessible through or that particular scope. So we use the inner function or nested function. Suppose I want to let it make I'm creating a def inner function, right, and naming this, it is let it accept the name, suppose. And over here I'm creating another function def, right, and proper name. Suppose I'm just naming it a proper name. This is a function inside a function, and this function is returning, or this function is just like a printing the hi, then space name, right? That's it. And I want to call this function, naming it Nawab. Now you can see that it does not display anything. Why? Because we have written a function inside a function. So we want to call a function inside the parent function. So here is the parent function, indent scope or parent scope. So we have call this function inside the again parent function. Now you can see that it has printed hi Anju, right? So this is called a nested function or inner function. So there is another thing very interesting. How about if our function, the parent function will return the function, like I want to return this function. How can we achieve this? Actually, I have to just indent it like this. So this technique, let it actually come over here, and I do not do anything over here. Now you can see that it did not display anything over here. So I'm declaring a variable called the closure function. Suppose now I want to call the closure function over here because this is a method now. You can see that this is the closure function. I just named the closure function. Now over here this inner function is returning actually this method. Or how about if I do over here, like all these things, it has a different things, but it does not have the definition of this method inside it. So this is called the closure function, right? This is a very big topic actually, closure function, why we need this. This is this debate could be very long, but considering that when our function is returning a function, consider it like a function, closure function. So the thing is, what is actually method? Method is something else and function is something else, or sometimes we call it the same in the way of the method concept comes into the object oriented programming. When we have to write a class, we will learn what actually the object oriented programming is in our upcoming video. When we define a class, and inside the class we will declare a method, and when we do create a instance of, or when we do create a instance of our the class in our program, then we can call, or we can call that method by the object of the class. This is a very big topic, totally depend on the object oriented programming. So we will discuss all the thing into our next videos. I hope so you guys will enjoy this video. If you have any concern, any confusion, let me know.